Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into a really significant piece of Gundam history. We're talking about the Master Grade 1100 Gundam Astraea plus Proto GN Twin Broadblade kit.
Ah, yes, the Astraea, not just any suit.
Exactly. It's the star of the Mobile Suit Gundam 00P side story, a really key part of the whole Gundam 00 timeline, you know.
It absolutely is. You have to understand, the Astraea was celestial beings' experimental platform. It's that critical link. It sits right between the very first one, the Zero Gundam, and the Gundam everyone knows, the Exia.
So it was like a testbed for all the tech that came later.
Precisely. It was foundational for developing the third generation Gundams, testing out all those core concepts.
And, important for collectors out there, this one's a premium Bandai release.
Right, so not always the easiest to get hold of, usually online, limited runs, makes it pretty sought after.
Okay, let's break down the kit itself. We're looking at the Master Grade, so that's 1100 scale. Gundam Astraea plus that huge Proto GN Twin Broadblade. Price-wise, it's listed at 7,150 yen, tax included. Pretty standard for a P-Bandai MG with extras, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And release dates. It originally dropped back in February 2025.
Oh, right.
But good news, if you missed it, they've actually scheduled a reissue that's coming up in September 2025.
That's great. Good that they're doing another run.
Yeah, it gives more people a shot at building this unique machine.
What's really cool about this MG, I think, is how well it captures that experimental feel of the Astraea.
Definitely. And a big part of that is because Kanetake Ebikawa, the original mechanical designer, actually supervised this kit.
So the details are going to be spot on, true to its roots as that early test unit.
Exactly. And that carries over into the build itself.
Yeah.
The articulation is, well, it's really good. They adapted the inner frame from the Master Grade Gundam Exia.
Oh, nice. So it'll have that same great range of motion.
You got it. Which is perfect for a suit like Astraea that was probably posed and reconfigured constantly during testing.
And the main event, accessory-wise, that Proto GN Twin Broadblade. It looks massive.
It is massive and really interesting conceptually. It's newly sculpted just for this kit.
Right, and it's not just one big sword, is it?
No, that's the Proto part. It can split into two separate swords, or you can combine it with other blades for like an even bigger weapon setup. Plus, it has this unique connector piece, lets you mount it on the back, or even on the hard points on the body. Very modular.
Shows off that experimental vibe again.
And for finishing touches, you get water slide decals included, which is always nice for MGs. Gives it that professional look.
Oh, nice. Water slides are always preferred.
And if you really want to make it pop on the shelf, it's compatible with an LED unit. You have to buy it separately, though.
For the GN drive in the chest.
Yep, lights up the chest, really brings that prototype feel to life.
Okay, let's talk about the full loadout, because this kit seems packed. It really reflects that testbed role, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The arsenal is comprehensive.
You get the Proto GN launcher, the Proto GN sword, and then the Proto GN long and short blades, too.
That's right, all the prototype weapons, plus the more standard stuff like the GN beam rifle and 2 beam sabers, complete with the beam effect parts.
And shields. I see it lists 2 types.
Yes. Crucially, you get both the Astraea type shield and the Exia type shield.
See, that really drives home that evolutionary connection you were talking about.
Exactly. It's a great visual link. And beyond the weapons themselves, you also get all the little connection parts needed to mount everything, a proper action base for posing.
Always appreciate an included base.
And even a little 1100 scale pilot figure. It's a very complete package.
So, we've covered the kit itself, which sounds awesome. But let's dive a bit deeper into the lore. Why is the Astraea so important in the Gundam 00 story?
That's a great question because its history is pretty fascinating and a bit tragic. The GNY-001 Gundam Astraea. This was Celestial Being's first second-generation Gundam, developed way back, around 2292 AD. Its whole job was testing tech for the next generation, the third-gen suits like Exia.
So things like the antennas, the hard points.
Yep, clavicle antennas for controlling GM particles, those versatile hard points for optional gear. Astraea was pioneering all that stuff.
And the pilots you mentioned, Ruida Resonance and Marlene Vladi. Their story is tied into its history, too.
Deeply and tragically. Their time piloting the Astraea and Marlene in her own suit, the Abuhul. It ends with a major incident. It involves another pilot, Jal Acoustica, and her Gundam Pluton.
The Pluton incident. That sounds ominous.
It was. The Pluton suffered a catastrophic failure, basically unleashing unstable, highly toxic second-gen GN particles, Ruido in the Astraea and Marlene in the Abuhul, They had to make a sacrifice. They essentially contained the blast to save Chal's cockpit block.
Wow, so they were lost.
Yes, it was a huge blow, but also a catalyst. That event forced Celestial Being to face how unstable their early GN tech really was. It pushed them to solve those problems, which led directly to the stable third-generation GN drives used by Exia and the others.
So the Astraea and its pilot sacrifice literally paved the way for the Gundams we see in the main series.
In a very real sense, yes. It represents that difficult, sometimes tragic step forward in technology, a symbol of maybe tragic justice that enabled future progress.
So bringing it back to the kit then. For you, the listener, getting this master-grade Astraea isn't just building a cool model. You're actually holding a really significant piece of the Gundam 00 backstory, a physical representation of that engineering evolution.
Absolutely. Whether you're a longtime collector or just love the 00's universe, it offers both a great build experience and that deeper connection to the lore.
And hey, if you enjoy these kinds of deep dives into the Gundam universe, uncovering the stories behind the suits and the tech, definitely think about subscribing. We've always got more to explore.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. If the Astraea represents that necessary, sometimes sacrificial prototype stage, what does that really tell us about innovation, about the drive to push forward and the costs that sometimes come with forging those new paths, even when we're just talking about fictional giant robots?
Right.
Makes you think.